The British Truck Racing Championship, brought to you by Meritor, guest show at Truck and Van. Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth show in the 2016 series of the British Truck Racing Championship, event 5 of the season, about to get underway here at Donington Park.
So here we are with the Digraph team. James, we appreciate your support with the championship, but also with the team itself, which has gone from strength to strength over the seasons.
Well, it would appear so. I think when we started out with the team 4 or 5 years ago, Dave, when we first came to Donington, it looked nothing like this. You know, we're bringing 1,000 guests over the weekend, so I think that's probably testament to how things have grown here.
Tell us a little bit more about Digraph.
Well, we're now the biggest commercial motor factor in the UK. We've got 13 branches, typically around the Midlands. 4,500 customers, which is kind of an owner-driver right through to a multinational business. The company was started in '76 by my father. We now employ 200 staff, and we, believe it or not, we now make a parts delivery over 33 counties every 45 seconds.
And if I come to you please, David, now qualified third, so that's a good position to be in on race 1.
Yeah, a mixed qualifying for us. We had a very successful Nürburgring a few weeks ago, but the truck that we were using there wasn't fast enough to win races with here. So we took the plunge, we re-engineered the truck, and we turned up for qualifying with no testing. We have got high expectations and high hopes of having some really exciting racing this weekend.
Simon, you've been away for a little while, new truck I believe.
Yeah, that's right. We've obviously run in the MAN last year. Always had plans for the past over 3 years now to get back on the Iveco, and we've managed to do it. Like I say, we ended up sort of taking half a season out to achieve it, but here we are.
How do you find qualifying? How do you think you're going to fare this weekend?
Hopefully we'll be up there. We'll be up there. Like I say, but it's still just getting our head around the bits and bobs. We have altered the truck quite a bit compared to what the MAN was, and so hopefully we're up there with them. Then they crack on.
Steve Thomas, race 1 coming up and P1, that's not bad.
No, I wasn't expecting it myself. With the team had made a fair few changes to the truck over the last couple of weeks, and obviously made the right choices. The truck was going absolutely great, the weather's good, so the combination of those things, we got to pole position, so I'm really happy with it, and I've got Ryan by the side of me, so it should be a good start to the race.
Good to see Simon back in the championship. This is the first race in a pack programme. The Class A trucks getting to showcase themselves at the start of the meeting. Steve Thomas, as you heard, on pole position. Ryan Smith in his new livery is alongside David Jenkins on row 2 with Stuart Oliver, and then Matt Summerfield, defending champion, with Shane Brereton on the outside of the third row. Here they come, and it is very much thunder here at Donington. Ryan Smith takes an early lead from Steve Thomas going down into Redgate. Look at Stuart Oliver in the Kelser number 7, the multi-champion, goes round the outside, but I tell you what, Steve Thomas was having none of that at all, and Thomas, you can see, loses a wee bit of bodywork. The back wheel arch disappearing off the 33 machine, and he holds on to second place. It's a good start. This is an absolutely fantastic circuit, Donington Park. Great for car racing, and an even bigger spectacle here for the big trucks. There's Simon Reed. Wonderful to see him back, as we said. This is the view from Stuart Oliver, third place into Schwantz, now into McLean's corner, and it's Ryan Smith the championship leader, who's out front. Ryan making a great start off the front row of the field. Reeves engaged in battle with Luke Garrett, and Luke on the outside line going into Coppice. In behind them, the number 12 of Michael Oliver, and then Steve Powell in the Lenham truck, the blue number 3 at the back of the field. And here they come up towards the end of lap number 1. Ryan Smith very neatly in and out of the chicane. Here's the view from P2. Steve Thomas, really good. He'll know he's got the pace. He'll maybe be a bit frustrated with the start, but he'll know from having that pole position time in qualifying that he does have the pace around here. So he's just got to string a few of those laps together in the race. And you can see he's under pressure from the Silver 7 of Stuart Oliver, but then it's the digraph truck of Dave Jenkins, followed by Matt Summerfield. Oh, and a spin for Michael Oliver. Michael, first-year racer, son of Stuart. You've got to say, really learning his craft well in his formula over the course of the year. Through the old hairpin we go again. There's Matt Summerfield, multi-champion as well. We've got so many champions. The key thing about truck racing for me is the fact that the drivers stay with the championship. We talk about the number of titles that Stuart Oliver has had, that Matt Summerfield has got. He's the current champion. Of course, he's got Dave Jenkins in the mix as well. And all of those guys stay with it. Many other forms of motorsport, you see the drivers moving away. And I guess these guys have got the option maybe to think about car racing, and indeed some of them have. We've seen, of course, Stuart Oliver racing in touring cars. He had a little dabble in the Legends cars recently for fun as well. And so drivers can move on, but the key thing is they actually stay in this environment, and that says a great deal about the racing and also the camaraderie in the paddock. Wide line there, a few guys kicking up a little bit of a dust. James Bond type smokescreen could happen, but at the moment it's Ryan Smith who is the leader down into Redgate. Stuart Oliver is chasing the 33 machine of Steve Thomas. There is Dave Jenkins in 69, still being hunted down by Matt Summerfield. Steve Powell in the Lenham number 3, still continuing on, and Steve trying to develop that truck, of course, and make improvements up. He's the defending champion, or the reigning champion in Class B. Outstanding year for him last year, and very much learning his way through Class A for this year. So Ryan Smith still out front, and pulling out a little bit of a gap over Steve Thomas. Oh, there's very sideways moment there. Just out of shot for Matt Summerfield, who got it all sideways, but look at the pressure that David Jenkins is now starting to put on Stuart Oliver. Jenkins in the digraph truck. We've got in pit lane Steve Powell, obviously not happy with things here in race number 1 of the weekend. And I don't think there's anything to be lost by going in there, see if he can get a diagnostic done. Hopefully not a retirement for him. We'll see whether he does get back out or not. Look at Dave Jenkins. We heard him saying he had a good outing at the Nürburgring. It was Ryan Smith that took 2 British Championship wins on that away round. And look at Jenkins, he's on the outside line of Stuart Oliver. We follow though Steve Thomas through Redgate. Thomas still in second position. Jenkins working hard here, of course. Passing in cars is a craft in itself, but finding the gap, the momentum and the way past in these massive trucks is even more difficult, and that's what Dave Jenkins is trying to do now on Stuart Oliver. But if he looks in his mirrors, he's got Shane Brereton. Brereton, a relative newcomer to British truck racing, and this is his first full season. Brereton, he did join early on in the 2015 campaign, and he's closing down on those guys. Possibly they're compromising each other's lap times, with Stuart maybe being a little bit defensive on occasion. Well, you say that, they're not really dropping away from Steve Thomas in second at the moment, and Dave Jenkins still piling the pressure on. So Shane Brereton doing pretty well. Fastest laps being set at the moment by Steve Thomas. He's getting into that rhythm that he had in qualifying, Thomas, and we're looking ahead from Stuart Oliver to Steve Thomas's truck. Jenkins following line for line at the moment. Shane Brereton goes a little bit tighter in and showing a wee bit of Kelso logo on the front of his truck to Dave Jenkins. He's a couple down. Jenkins runs a little bit wide, and Shane Brereton's going to try and get a little bit of a run here on the black digraph machine. You can see behind them the blue of the defending champion, Matt Summerfield, in his MAN, a little bit behind, collecting himself together after output. Look how Brereton is piling the pressure on. The Tour Trucks Kelso machine is having a very good nibble here at Jenkins, but just can't find a gap on the inside. And David Jenkins, vastly experienced, former champion, won't want to leave a gap for Brereton to go through, and he's fended off Brereton for the moment. Shane just drops back a couple of lengths and has got to regroup, just get his momentum, get the flow going again. Jenks throws a bit of dust up into his face. Meanwhile, up ahead of Jenkins, we go on board with Stuart Oliver coming up into McLean's. Listen to that engine note and the gear changes. This is such a physical form of racing. But Oliver very nearly left the door open there on the inside. And Jenks had a look down. Oliver closed the door on the inside. They're up at Coppice. Oliver goes wide. You need to leave a little bit of a door open if you're on the main racing line. And Jenkins has got the inside line. What we can't see at the moment is whether he's going to go through. Jenkins is having the run here on the inside line of Stuart Oliver and goes through. Brilliant move, well sorted out. Good to see Steve Powell back out on track after that pit stop. But look, Ryan Smith still out front. He's the race leader. Racing in Europe as well this year, Ryan Smith. His rise through the ranks of the British Truck Racing Championship has been nothing but meteoric. Oh, Jenkins runs wide and Stuart Oliver grabs third position back. Oliver back on the podium on the inside line. That was all about Dave Jenkins being fully committed to try and close down on Steve Thomas. Here is the view of the race leader. Ryan Smith goes out of shot, Steve Thomas leaves shot as well, and here is the fight going on behind those guys. Oliver is there. Jenkins had a look, wide look, coming down into the chicane, and Oliver's gone straight on. Oliver straight lines the gravel, goes completely through it and emerges still in third place. Has gained an advantage to that. I don't know whether maybe Stuart was there a bit of contact? Possibly not. We didn't really see that, but Stuart Oliver certainly had a lot of momentum going into the chicane and went straight on. A lesser driver probably would have tried to turn the thing into the gravel, which would have made a little bit of a problem. So Ryan Smith now in an unusual position of perhaps having to deal with some backmarker traffic. And Jenkins is through again. Dave Jenkins repasses Stuart Oliver again and goes back onto the podium. The Morris Lubricants wheel arch has taken a little bit of a battering, but he doesn't mind about that. He's back up into third place. Shane Brereton has now been passed by Matt Summerfield. You can see there's Summerfield in the blue number one. He's now hard on the heels, and that was a gesticulation from Matt there. He really is on a charge at the moment. So three-way battle for third, four-way battle for third place, because Shane Brereton's tacking himself back on the end of this. Now, how many years' experience is there in the top three? Those guys vastly experienced. Brereton at the back, the fourth truck of this scrap for third place. He's the least experienced driver of the lot. Michael Oliver has now been lapped. He's in the number 12 truck, been lapped by Ryan Smith in white and pink. He goes through. Steve Thomas in P2, out of the chicane. A little bit of dirt being kicked up again by Ryan Smith, who goes on to the last lap, just under 2 miles to go. And Ryan Smith here could get his win rate into double figures here at Donington Park. There's well, it's a trio now. Dave Jenkins has broken away from Stuart Oliver, and Oliver's under big pressure from Matt Summerfield. He's going to have a look down the inside line. Oliver goes across defensive to the inside line. He'll have to come out a little bit to get a bit of a racy line down into Redgate. And now the 77 machine of Shane Brereton tacks himself on the back end of the man we're on board with, Matt Summerfield. Summerfield, the meat in the sandwich at the moment. It's been a very good recovery from Matt after we saw that wild moment at the back of shot earlier on in the race. Down into the old hairpin along Starkey's for the last time. Ryan Smith still out front. Steve Thomas still has the fastest lap. Through Schwantz, Summerfield, what can he do about Stuart Oliver? Dave Jenkins in 69. The black digraph machine, the MAN in black, is safe by the look of it in third place. And Shane Brereton still learning in the Kels. It's a Kelsa sandwich, isn't it, at the moment? And Brereton having a look at the HRVS machine of Matt Summerfield. He looks like he's going to hold on to 5th position. But through the chicane for the last time. Ryan Smith, here's the view from the chaser. Steve Thomas has been relentless in his chase, and a little bit of showboating from Ryan Smith, who makes it win number 10 of the 2016 British Truck Racing Championship. Steve Thomas takes second and the fastest lap. Third place has gone to David Jenkins, and then Stuart Oliver holds on for 4th position. Here's the result. Smith from Thomas. Steve Thomas getting fastest lap. Dave Jenkins completes the podium. Stuart Oliver fended off Matt Summerfield. Matt in turn fending off Shane Brereton. Simon Reed was 7th from Luke Garrett, and Michael Oliver in 9th position.
Ryan, congratulations. Race 1, win 1. That's not a bad start.
Good start to the day, you know. It was difficult at the first turn, but you know, I always knew if we got clear we'd have a good go at Steve Thomas, and we luckily got round him, and it was just look after the truck and take it home.
Different livery this weekend. Just tell us the story behind that.
We are doing a charity event for the children's charity Make-A-Wish. I'm lucky enough to be able to race this beautiful truck, and I'd like to give a bit back, and we've got good sponsors. I knew Donington was going to have a good turnout, and I thought it was only right to do something for a charity, and we chose Make-A-Wish. We did British Heart Foundation last year at Pembury, so it felt right to do something for a charity this year.
Pole position for our first race for Class B goes to Simon Cole. Trevor Martin did well in qualifying. He is in second in the blue and red, number 19. Then it's Adam Bint and Ryan Coulson. Andy Lovenbury on row 3 with John Powell. Then it's Brian Burt and John Boland. Make no mistake, this is a big quality field. All of these drivers are capable of podia, if not wins. Simon Cole paces us up to the start line. Watch for the start line on track. Watch for lights out as well. There's the start line. Oh, goodness me. Ryan Coulson goes flying past into the lead. And, well, we saw from in car or in cab with Simon Cole, that really did look like a jump start. It's down to the race officials to judge the fact. Off goes Trevor Martin, second in qualifying, and Martin is off the circuit. All of that hard work done in qualifying is off into the gravel. Simon Cole will give chase. We know he's got the speed. 6 wins so far this year for the man in second position at the moment. Rear wheel arch on the inside, flapping quite badly. I'm not aware of any contact thus far. There's Brian Burt up ahead of John Bowler in 14. John, a newcomer this year, and has acquitted himself so well. And as I said, out of all of these drivers, you know, if for newcomers coming in, John Bowler, top quality newcomer coming into the championship, and it's going to be daunting for anyone looking at coming into Class B, because these guys are all very quick and very competitive, and able, as I said, to get into top point scoring positions. So into Coppice go the leaders. Ryan Coulson on the outside line. Here comes Simon Cole. Cole's got some momentum, and he's going to slot down on the inside line. Coulson is still on the outside, and through into the race lead goes Simon Cole. Cole looking for win number 7 here. It's Adam Bint immediately behind. Binty is giving chase. Across the line we go. Simon Cole was clearly fired. Adam Bint's coming into pit lane. Adam Bint, 3-time winner so far this year. Adam Bint is off, and it looks like a retirement. Maybe they'll get it sorted. Andy Lovenbury just going out of shot. There, leading the pack down the straight, is Trevor Martin. Trevor, after going off into the gravel earlier on, down behind him, side by side. Well, actually not side by side anymore, going through on the inside is John Powell, followed by another John Bowler. So here's the view from Simon Cole, race leader, on for win number 7, but it looks like trouble for Simon Cole. Ryan Coulson has a big slide as well. Now, is there fluid going down that maybe caused that? Coulson hanging on to this well at the moment. Back onto the tarmac, and Simon Cole is off the circuit. There must be fluid down, because we'll give 10 out of 10 for that pirouette from Andy Lovenbury. Simon Cole is out. That is such a shame. This guy is so quick and wanted to add to his win tally. The rest have come through. You can see the marks on the tarmac coming down from the crane of curves. And this really has upset the apple cart. We've lost Adam Bint. We've now lost Simon Cole, who disconsolately walks away from his truck. It's Trevor Martin who's in the lead and coming under pressure now from Ryan Coulson. Coulson looks at the inside, now takes an outside sweep. That's brave in car racing, surely impossible in trucks. He's on the gravel, bounces over the curve, round comes the back end, and Ryan Coulson spins onto the inside, thankfully not directly in front of anybody. Could have been a collection there, but he gets going again, and it's Trevor Martin out front here, the man that qualified second. Martin is the leader. Andy Lovenbury challenging John Powell for second. Lovenbury goes down the inside. John Powell could be on for yet another podium. He's the dark horse in this championship for me. John Powell quietly goes about his business and just keeps getting those podia. He's in third place. Look how Andy Lovenbury almost enters the drifting championship there. It's certainly not the most grippiest place on the circuit coming down the crane of curves. And if you could think of places not to put fluid, that's probably it. So Lovenbury, all the drivers know what the situation is there, because of course it was the first truck, the leading truck, that caused the problem initially, so we think. Trevor Martin comes out of the chicane and is going to take a win. Trevor Martin's first win of the season. This has been on the cards for sure. Martin takes the win. It's Andy Lovenbury some 8 seconds back, 9 seconds at the flag. Martin from Lovenbury, John Powell in third. John Bowler completes the finishers, non-finishes for Ryan Coulson, Brian Burt, Adam Bint and Simon Cole.
Trevor, congratulations, what a fantastic win.
Yeah, that was really good. Second on the grid, had a good getaway, and then a terrible first corner, last position on the first corner, and then just fight it all the way then. No, it's good, enjoyed it.
Simon, unusual not to see you on a podium, and even more unusual not to see you finish a race. Just what's the story?
I don't know, the engine's gone in the lorry, because we've had no testing there at all. I was having troubles from Fruxley still this morning with vibration. With that, we changed a few things. We've gone out, and we was leading the pace, and the ball come out and say we had a 10-second penalty, which it wasn't us a jump start, so I was trying to make the time up, and looked like I pushed too hard, and engine's blown itself.
So is that game over for this weekend?
Yeah, game over for this weekend. It's running away from me now a bit. I need to re-evaluate it really. I just need to get another engine in it and try and finish strong the rest of the season.
Michael Oliver starts on pole position. Luke Garrett is alongside in 42. Then Luke Taylor and Shane Brereton, followed by Steve Thomas. Ryan Smith there as well. This is the third outing. We've had another outing each for classes A and B. We'll tell you about those a little bit later on. But the pace truck is pulling into pit lane and we're ready for the start. So the lights will go out. And here they come. Stuart Oliver brakes, goes onto the grass, 2 wheels on the grass. Oh, and Shane Brereton coming out. Sideways goes Ryan Smith in the 88. He's across the track. Stuart Oliver comes through, but it looks like Smith is stuck there. Another Smith there. David Smith now chasing Stuart Oliver, rightly bringing out the red flags before the Class B trucks come through. Well, let's have another go. Michael Oliver made a good start first time, and Luke Taylor looks to the left of shot. They're keeping off the grass this time. Shane Brereton's made another cracking start. Ryan Smith's around the outside as well. Brereton leads, Michael Oliver second. Ryan Smith has got his nose in front of Luke Garrett to take third. Look how wide they are, look how busy this is. This is crowded. Matt Summerfield onto the outside. There was a bit of contact there. Stuart Oliver's off onto the grass in 7. Stuart's going to try and rejoin. A very physical start to this third race outing of the weekend. We have got the Division 2 trucks or Class B trucks out as well. There's Simon Reed up ahead of Steve Powell. Adam Bint leads them down into Redgate. Around the outside line goes John Bowler in number 14. Ryan Coulson looking to try and take the lead in that class, but out front this time, as I say, Shane Brereton was very quick indeed. Steve Thomas on the inside line making the pass on Luke Garrett. Through on the inside as well goes the number 1 of Matt Summerfield, and this debut from the other Luke Taylor. Both Lukes racing in Renaults. Ryan Smith comes across the track, clouts David Jenkins, who gets back on. Look at the convoy coming into the chicane. This is turning into a real physical race, this one. Michael Oliver, he's in second place in number 12. Oliver's getting more and more experience, getting quicker and quicker round by round. So past Luke Garrett goes Steve Thomas in the yellow 33. We were on board with Matt Summerfield in the blue 1. Luke Taylor is now side by side with the other Luke. Luke left is Luke Taylor, Luke right was Luke Garrett. Meanwhile, we go back to the Division 2 or Class B runners. Adam Bint right at the back. Looks like Binty has got a bit of a problem, Binty. So not the happiest of weekends for him so far. Contact on the back end of Dave Jenkins. Into Steve Thomas goes Matt Summerfield. Summerfield's on the grass. He's going to try and loses a bit of grip. When he comes back onto the track, tags Summerfield. Summerfield does a pirouette. A 360 from Matt Summerfield. That wasn't drivers dishing it out on each other. That, I think, was circumstance. When you get the wheels on the grass, you're not really going where you want to go. And as you come back on, there was just a little bit of contact because it is so close. Down the inside of Michael Oliver now goes Dave Jenkins. Jenkins chasing Ryan Smith. Smith's doing another stormer here, looking to add another win to his cannon, looking for the 11th win of the season. Dave Jenkins, of course, looking to improve on his tally. So down this way, look at Steve Thomas. The sparks are literally flying from Steve Thomas. And is he going to pit? Thomas, no, he's going to go off. He goes into the gravel. So there's the evidence it's been a physical race. Thomas pulls it up on the outside line. The field go through on the inside. Thomas there, that was real sensible driving from Steve Thomas. Waited for it, knew he'd got a problem, waited for everybody to go past, then safely makes it into pit lane. Take a bow, Steve Thomas. Down behind him, Simon Reed is chasing down. So Reed looking to get to grips with his truck pretty well here. I think Reed is going to get that truck quicker and quicker. I know he can drive, race-winning driver, champion in Class B. They go along Starkey's. Now the yellow truck, great to see Ricky Collett back with us in the championship. He's there in the yellow 95, but it's Ryan Coulson who is out front in Class B. Andy Lovenbury second. Then in third place, John Powell in the number 6. Ricky Collett the second, the original HGV direct truck, but the second one here, Steve Thomas running in that company's colours as well. Trevor Martin at the moment in 4th position, and Trev having to work his way from the back of Class B. Just a reminder, the race format, race 1 for each class is based on the fastest driver in qualifying starting at the front. What they then do is take the race results of every subsequent race and reverse the position. So if you finish first, you start at the back of the finishers for the next race. If you're non-finishing, you have to start at the back of the grid. So you can't throw away a race by retiring and then having to start off the front. So if you retire, you have to start at the back of the grid. And the faster race trucks in Class A start at the front of the field now. Last year they started behind the Class B trucks and had to play catch up. But change round this year, they still catch the Class B trucks, but this year when they catch them, they're lapping them rather than overtaking them for overall position. And it puts, I guess, the meeting focus on the Class A race trucks. The guys that have invested heavily in those trucks. Not to say the Class B boys don't spend a lot of money on their machines, they do, of course. But the focus at the front of the race is on Class A. The other reason for running the Class A's off the front is that generally Class B boys are a little bit more spread out by the time when they're lapped, when the Class A runners get up towards them. So it's really cutting back on the incident. Simon Reed down the inside there in the 89 truck on the inside of Luke Garrett. Luke Taylor coming up to play as well. The two Luke Renaults having an interesting tussle here on track. Over the brow along the exhibition straight, coming down into the chicane. Simon Reed running well here in this race, I've got to say. Come down the chicane onto the weak cross straight and tick off another lap here at Donington Park. Andy Lovenbury very much engaged in battle with John Powell. Lovenbury runs wide and Powell is going to just pop up the inside line. The Powell family very, very active and competitive in racing. There is Adam Bint, who pitted earlier on. He really has not been a happy meeting so far for Adam. Simon Reed giving chase there, and Reed trying to close down on Michael Oliver. Trevor Martin has got in the mix as well. You can see here Andy Lovenbury still in second place. Trevor Martin about to take third position in class, which he does away from John Powell. Trevor Martin having a great meeting here. There's a little bit of momentum about the Martin camp at the moment. It's going to be interesting moving from Donington to Silverstone and seeing how that transpires. Of course, we've got the rest of the racing here to get through at Donington Park, but as you can see, the Class A runners starting to get amongst the B boys. John Bowler about to be passed by Shane Brereton. Still got Ryan Smith in second position overall. There's the race leader in 77. Ryan Smith in 88 is second. Then it is 69, the MN in black. David Jenkins in the digraph machine. Behind him is David Smith, still running in the Sisu. Great livery again, absolutely immaculate preparation on that number 11. The race fans love the bonneted trucks, and that gets an awful lot of attention from the terraces and indeed in the paddock. Michael Oliver now coming under pressure from Luke Garrett. Those two go along the straight. Meanwhile, here's the battle for the lead, and it is still Shane Brereton who is there from Ryan Smith. David Jenkins trying to close down on the pair of them. Along the straight they go. And here comes Ryan Smith making a move. He goes on to the last lap. And is he going to chop back in on the inside line, going down into Redgate? Yes, he does. Here comes Smith. MAN. On MAN, they clatter. And they're on the brakes. And where is Dave Jenkins? Well, Shane Brereton is off in the gravel. Jenkins goes past us. Now, what has happened to Ryan Smith? He's still in the gravel. Jenkins comes through. Well, Jenkins has had some rough luck over the course of the season so far, and you feel it's coming back to him. He was there in third. He comes through safely. He's got the lead. Ryan Smith in second. A clatter on Shane Brereton. There is Brereton, who looked like he could have held on for this one, but Ryan Smith wanted to try and come through. They touched, they were off, they were in the gravel, and Jenkins comes through. Dave Jenkins has got the lead. There is Paul McCumsky running at the moment in sixth position in Class B, but Dave Jenkins on the last lap. The digraph truck is going to take the win. We pick up on John Bowler. He's running behind John Powell. John Powell is fourth in class. John Bowler is fifth in Class B. But Dave Jenkins has got clear track down exhibition straight into the chicanes, the last two corners of the lap, and Jenks is going to take another win. A little bit of tail out as he came out of there for the crowd who watched from there. Jenkins takes the win. Ryan Smith is going to come through in second place, but Stuart Oliver was on a massive mission on the last lap, just denied second position. Oliver is third. Next across the line, our Class B winner. Look at that, the trucks in Class B following each other. That was close, but Ryan Coulson takes it from Andy Lovenbury. Trevor Martin in third. So it was David Jenkins from Ryan Smith and Stuart Oliver. Oliver getting fastest lap. Simon Reed was fourth. Great result for him. Good for Michael Oliver too in fifth. Then Luke Garrett and David Smith. Ryan Coulson winning Class 2 from Andy Lovenbury and Trevor Martin. Ricky Collett next from John Powell. John Bowler, Paddy Mack and Steve Powell in 15.
Dave, congratulations. What a fantastic race there, and in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, no, brilliant result for us, to open the score sheet for today with. We had a bit of bad luck yesterday. We were fast all day yesterday, and then, I got some debris through the radiator when scrappy with Matt in race 2 yesterday. I unfortunately had to retire. So Ryan went for a bit of an optimistic move on Shane, but unbeknown to Ryan, there was diesel down when he got there, so it wasn't as bad as it might appear. He simply couldn't stop it when he got there, and that was the end of them two, so that'll do me. Thank you very much.
Stuart, podium successes for you all weekend so far, but that was a busy one, wasn't it?
Was a busy one, very busy. You know, unfortunately the start was aborted. You know, the red flag came out after the start and then restarted. I thought I was going well, and then I had a coming together with Matt on the exit of red gate, which put us across the grass, and I was plumb last. So I was quite happy to work my way up to get to third at the end. So it was all right.
Ryan, fantastic to see you back on the podium. Not an easy one though.
No, hard race. Just got that good start. Then we restarted again. Then I got a good start. Lucky enough, I got the same line again. There were a few first division lorries in front of us, all spun off. We got through them and we were away then.
Second place, Class B's. Great to see you on the podium on a fantastic race.
Yeah, back with a vengeance, more than happy. We were happy if we just went home with a trophy for the weekend, but it's all going right at the moment.
I was going to say, we've seen you intermittently over the past few years have a go at this, but we got you to stop for the rest of the season?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm all happy. I've got heavy diesels involved in Stoke now. Neil Evans and his two lads there, Wayne and Craig. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. They've worked day and night on it for the last 3 weeks. And the other lads, obviously. It's all down to them, that's why we're here.
Jeff Hooper, great weekend so far here at Donington Park. And Meritor, a good brand name. A lot of support you're giving us as well for this weekend. How did you become involved?
Okay, so about 6 years ago in 2010, Renault Trucks in Europe came to us. They were setting up a factory team in the European Championship and asked us to get involved with our brake and axle products.
And for any new viewers that we have, just to explain briefly what Meritor is, what it does.
Okay, so on a global scale, we deal it solely in the commercial vehicle market now. We supply everything from axles, front steer and drive, to wheel ends, braking systems, drivetrains and suspension as well. In Europe we're mainly focused on wheel end brakes and front and rear axles. Then in the US we do all of that plus the suspension and drivetrains.
A regular contributor and supporter, Keith, for many years, especially at this Donington event. How are you finding the weekend so far?
A great weekend. We've been very lucky with the weather. You know, a little bit different to last year. We all got absolutely soaked last year, but the weather makes anything. Been a great event. Mixed results with the team, but you know we're getting there, and there's a long way to go in this season. So we're keeping his fingers crossed that Matt can get his winning ways back.
Our regular viewers will recognise the HRVS Group brand, but to our many new viewers, just tell us a little bit about it and what's new for this season.
Yeah, I mean this year we've had the Casbora franchise in the UK now for just over a year, but this year is our first year in earnest with it selling the product in the UK, and it's going very well. We've got an awful lot of interest in the product. Casbora is one of the largest trailer manufacturers in Europe that we've not particularly heard about in the UK, so very exciting times. So you know, once again complimenting the truck range, especially the MAN truck range that we're now synonymous for.
Steve Powell, David Smith, and then Luke Garrett heading them round, ready for the start of the next race. Simon Reed is next on the outside line of Michael Oliver. Interview from Stuart Oliver off the start. Great shot of the pace truck peeling in. Looks like a good orderly start. A good start from Steve Powell. David Smith initially in second place. Simon Reed going wide. Luke Garrett looks to the inside line, followed by Michael Oliver. Stuart Oliver's there as well. Michael runs a little bit offline. Stuart pops himself up the inside line. Steve Powell gets on the grass, back on circuit. Oh, that's physical between Dave Jenkins and Michael Oliver. Side by side they go. Jenkins really getting stuck in, and he's up into fourth place as Stuart Oliver goes down on the inside of the Craner curves into the old hairpin on the inside line of Steve Powell. Powell now coming under pressure from Luke Garrett, but meanwhile, of course, we've got the Class B start to deal with. And it's John Bowler who goes wide. John Powell is going to assume the lead in class. Bowler's got the momentum through the gravel though, and rejoins the circuit just behind Adam Bint. Those two boys have got a fair bit to work. Binty's still looking far from happy here at Donington. So Adam Bint, one of the fancy runners for the championship. It's really going to be about the speed and the reliability over the course of the season for these guys. Binty up ahead of John Bowler at the moment, but we return to the lead battle. Well, not quite the lead battle, because Jenkins is running in second place at the moment. Stuart Oliver flashes through the lead. Dave Jenkins second. Matt Summerfield in blue is up to third. Again, we see Powell and Smith getting about to engage in battle. Ryan Smith in white and pink is looking on the big outside line here. A long wheat cross straight. Keep your eyes on the white and pink 88. He's on that outside line here. Now he's moving across. Sees a gap on the inside of Steve Powell. That's just out of shot. Side by side, meanwhile, Brereton and Kelser 77 on the outside of Luke Garrett. I think Steve Powell was just a little bit off track there again. And Steve holding sway for the first few corners in the lead. That was a good job for him in the early stages of that truck, which is still under development. But through go the placemen. Shane Brereton in 77. There is Luke Garrett, the man from Radstock, the Ross Garrett Truck Racing Renault. The Garrett name synonymous with successful truck racing for many years. So Andy Lovenbury, Lovenbury gets on the grass. He is out front at the moment in Class B. John Powell immediately behind him. There's Ryan Coulson. Coulson running in third place, looking to notch up another win. Here's the view from Steve Thomas in the yellow and black 33, challenging Matt Summerfield. Thomas has got great pace around here this weekend. Pole position, fastest lap in race number 1. Championship-wide, not necessarily about who wins the most races. You could bag probably second or third place in every race in the season. As long as you're consistent, as long as you get the finishes in, a good championship position will beckon. Thomas, though, will want to, if at all possible, go away with one of those wins. But at the moment, Matt Summerfield is the man holding sway over him. Summerfield, I think, was about to go a little bit wide there. Back with Class B, Andy Lovenbury, and side by side for second place. Up the inside goes Ryan Coulson. Coulson's through into second. John Powell in third. And they're having a good scrap. Trevor Martin, who really has had the pace this weekend, is there in fourth place, trying to close in on them. And now Coulson's going to set about having a look at the inside line of Andy Lovenbury. But Andy, well, he's got a couple of truck lengths between himself and Coulson, who's chasing. Here's the battle for the lead at the moment. Stuart Oliver is in lead position. David Jenkins is really on his case at the moment. And just watch Jenkins trying to close in. I think he's certainly closed in from the early stages. Here's the view from Oliver, and here comes Jenkins. He is slipstreaming him down the exhibition straight. Summerfield still third. Ryan Smith's about to put a pass on Shane Brereton. He's got the inside line. Shane Brereton's seen him coming, and well, Shane, I was going to say he was going to let him go. No, he isn't. Look at that contact there from Shane, brings the back end around. And Shane didn't want to let the position go. He gave Ryan Smith room going into the chicane, which was fair play. But just a little bit too much for him, and he doesn't hang on to it. Half a gyration. He'll try and get back and score some consolation points. But here's the battle for the lead. Stuart Oliver out front. David Jenkins, 2 former champions. Jenkins grabs some dirt coming down through the Craner curves. This is the old hairpin. Then it's on to Starkey Straight. What can Jenkins do? Can he get a little bit more momentum? We'll come back to that in a minute. But meanwhile, Andy Lovenbury still ahead of Ryan Coulson. Trevor Martin is now up to third, ahead of John Powell. Those 4 trucks really steaming on at the moment. Martin still being monstered by the look of it by John Powell, or is there a little bit of gap beginning to develop between those two? There's not so much of a gap between first and second. Ryan Coulson is piling the pressure on Andy Lovenbury. Coulson, after his second race win of the year in class in the previous event. Meanwhile, we go back to Shane Brereton. You can see now under pressure from Dave Smith. It might be that Brereton's repassed him. It's got Michael Oliver immediately ahead. Adam Bint now being caught. Paddy Mack is coming out of pit lane, followed by Steve Powell. So a little bit of extra work for Matt Summerfield and company to do before they can continue their chase of the battle between Stuart Oliver and David Jenkins. Approaching the halfway stage of this one now, and the leaders, as ever, begin to get into the Class B trucks. There's Paddy Mack at the head, the white truck. He was the one that came out of the pit lane first. Smith and Thomas still very much involved. Paddy Mack sticks to the outside line. Great driving again from the Class B drivers as we go on board again with Steve Thomas. Adam Bint goes wide, and the first two drivers go through. Matt Summerfield leads the chase. He's third, fourth and fifth position here. Summerfield third, Thomas in fourth position. Ryan Smith back in fifth at the minute. He's recovered well, Ryan Smith, from that just tiny skirmish that he had with Shane Brereton. Here's the view from Stevie Thomas, fourth position. What sort of a run can he get down the straight? He needs momentum. He needs to have a look up the inside line, but as you can see, Summerfield just goes across, doesn't want to show too much of a gap there. Not as wide as he might be for the full racing line into the chicane. But I tell you what, it wasn't overly defensive by the time they got to the chicane. And Thomas closing up on him. Ryan Smith in the mix as well. Jenkins looks to the outside line. Dave Jenkins having a good look at Stuart Oliver. Look how close they are going into Redgate. It's difficult to get that close without touching. They've lapped John Bowler now. John's still running in Class B, so he'll pick up some more good points. The points, remember, running 10 points in class for a win, 9 points per second. It just drops by 1 point per place. Very easy for the scores to be worked out by the spectators here and everybody following the championship. So Oliver and Jenkins continue their great battle. Meanwhile, great battle too, even closer in Class B, and Ryan Coulson goes down the inside into the chicane. Can he get on the anchors in time? He's the back end going to come around over the sausage curb, about some massive flame out underneath, and surely he has lost momentum. He has. Trevor Martin goes second, and Ryan Coulson is down to third. John Powell is coming up as well, and John's on the outside line, so it's Lovenbury now out front. Trevor Martin in second. Here's Andy Lovenbury. Andy's still out front. Ryan Coulson has got back into second place ahead of Trevor Martin. It's fascinating to see how Class B is working out. Martin, as we said, with the fastest time in quali, and you might have expected him to hold on ahead of Ryan Coulson, but the Coulson team really sorting themselves out, and with that bounce over the curbs dislodging him from second, he's fought back into second place ahead of Martin. The leaders have got to thread their way through. They've got a Class B battle coming up, so Truck 7 is the overall leader. Trevor Martin sticks to the outside line. Good driving from Trevor. Jenkins still following in 69, and Stuart Oliver is the race leader. He's got to go past Ryan Coulson. These trucks should go past on the main straight. Certainly they do Coulson. Not sure if they're going to get past Andy Lovenbury by the time they get to Redgate, but it's still Stuart Oliver in lead position at number 7. And this is a workmanlike performance from Oliver and Jenkins, just getting through the Class B traffic. Down through Hollywood they go again. It is still Matt Summerfield back in third position. Luke Garrett meanwhile chasing Steve Powell. Michael Oliver is in behind. John Bowler just goes out of shot ahead of Adam Bint. Then we get Shane Brereton. Gap back from Brereton to Powell, Steve Powell that is, in the Lenham truck. Inside line here on Luke Garrett, taking us back to the great battles that these two had last year. Michael Oliver is there as well. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead continues. This is very clearly Jenkins versus Oliver. Oliver on the inside line in 7 again. It should hold the key to going into the chicane. Oliver is still there in the Kelso truck. The digraph machine chasing hard. But look at this. 3rd, 4th and 5th places all together. Summerfield, Thomas, Ryan Smith is not making the progress that I might have expected here, but now shows his colours. The pink and white goes to the outside line. Thomas is going to do the same. Jenkins chasing hard here in 69. Is it going to be a last lap pass for the lead, or are we going to see Stuart Oliver hold on to take a 6th race win of the season? Oliver manages to put a little bit of daylight between himself and Jenkins. 3rd place looks like it might go to Matt Summerfield. Steve Thomas is next up. Ryan Smith struggling to deal with Thomas here. He's got the pace, he's on his tail, but he just can't work out a way past. Can't get enough momentum to go through on that inside line, or indeed to the outside. John Bowler about to be passed by Luke Garrett. Michael Oliver going through shot. There again is Steve Powell in the Lenham number 3. Steve is adrift. We saw him coming out of the pits earlier on, but he's still getting some decent laps here, which will add to his experience of the circuit in this truck. But here's the view from the race leader into the chicane for the last time. Pretty neatly done. Little bit of a bounce maybe over the curbs, but comes out. Jenkins, back end's coming round. Jenkins is going to lose 2nd spot, and it's Stuart Oliver that takes the win, and Jenkins in the Digraph machine loses it on the last corner. Side by side now for 2nd place, and Summerfield grabs 2nd. It's a podium for Steve Thomas and 4th place for Ryan Smith. Next up is Andy Lovenbury, who wins Class B ahead of Ryan Coulson. Then it was Simon Reed coming through. Reed grabbing 5th place ahead of Reed, Smith, Thomas Summerfield and Oliver the winner. Oliver getting fastest lap as well. Behind Reed, Jenkins recovered for 6th. Then Shane Brereton, Luke Garrett, Michael Oliver, Dave Smith in 10th place. Then the Class 2 winner, Andy Lovenbury from Ryan Coulson and Trevor Martin. John Powell, Adam Finn, John Bowler and Steve Powell next up.
Stuart, congratulations. I think the phrase is nail-biting and crowd-pleasing, very much the case of races like that.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, hopefully the crowds enjoyed that, because, you know, I don't know what was going on far behind, or well, not far behind, I don't want to sound big-headed, but, you know, behind where Dave and me were, but Dave and me were having a good tussle, you know, and, you know, there was a few taps, just he was letting us know he was there, but, you know, there was nothing violent or aggressive, and had a good race, but it was unfortunate he didn't get it round the, you know, over the line at the end, but yeah, it was fantastic.
Matt, fantastic 2nd place there, well done. Not easy coming from the back of the grid.
No, not at all. He's been tough all weekend here, and he's this place is 2 pass, but it's easy for people to shut the door on you. In the light of the policing the track limits heavily as well, you've got to keep your nose clean. So to be able to cut through all that lot and get the 2nd position, we was quite happy with the 3rd position, but unfortunate for Dave, he had a bit of a spin out on the last turn, and he gave us an extra point and obviously 2nd place trophy.
Steve Thomas, 3rd place there. That was a cracking race.
Yeah, I mean that we started, you know, quite far back on the grid. I think we was 8th or something like that, and we didn't have a bad start. And I was there with behind Matt Summerfield for most of it, and I had Ryan Smith, you know, breathing down my neck all of the race really. So the 3 of us was having a good battle, and until the last lap where Dave Jenkins come and spun, just coming over up to the start finish line, which, you know, we ended up with a 3rd, or else we would have been 4th. But it was a fantastic race, yeah, all the way through.
Andy, we meet again, 1st place in Class B there.
Yeah, all systems go. Big surprise. We got away well from the start. I know we got round Coulson right behind me, and I think that pushed us. It was a tactical race all the way through, not the best lap times, but it was basically we were blocking. He was just as fast as me, and we got away and we won the race basically. It's all good straight from the start, you know.
We had well over 100 show trucks here at Donington Park, which made judging very, very difficult indeed. The best company-owned truck going to Tom Nutt, best owner-operator Paul Hinchcliffe, best American Graham Paul, best classic and restored Andy Hulme. JewelBrady.co.uk won the best recovery truck, best rigid going to Collins Earthworks, best light commercial, this time won by Brian Tivernan. Stanion Transport Limited won the best customised truck, semi-best customised going to AD Hulse. Best interior to Lowfield Haulage. Stanions Transport Limited once again winning the best working fleet. Best in show going to Tom Nutt and Son, and the Lights at Night award going to EW Gardner.
So here with Graham Curry from Guest Steward Truck and Van. Now, Graham, this is a fantastic event and it must be good to showcase your products.
Yes, without doubt. We've got a variety of vehicles from Arctics, 44 tonne, 7.5 tonners, 18 tonners, 26 tonners, all for immediate delivery at very competitive prices.
Now, are you local to Donington or national?
We are from Sheffield down to Coventry, based at the Midlands, go right out to Thetford. Got 11 depots.
Now, an event such as the truck racing, it's fairly unique, isn't it? There's no better way to sort of promote the products that you've got. It gets huge crowds in, and it's good for a family atmosphere.
Yes, I mean the people here, it's mother and father. It's a relatively cheap day. You know, come in, the kids don't pay under 13, so you could actually come here for 30 quid for a whole family. And also there's loads of things for the kids to do, as well as look at our wonderful truck selection.
Powell in the red and blue Lenham truck on the inside of David Smith for the start of race number 5. Michael Oliver on row 2, Luke Garrett to his outside, row 3 Shane Brereton, and then the black digraph machine of David Jenkins after that dramatic spin just about here on the last race. He starts towards the front of the group, but there's no respite. It's not going to be an easy task. He's got Simon Reed behind him, on the inside of the back of the row behind him, and then Ryan Smith as well. Here we go with the start, lights out, we go truck racing at Donington Park. Powell versus David Smith. Luke Garrett shows his colours, so too does Jenkins, so too does Michael Oliver in number 12. Shane Brereton's popping down the inside as well. This is where it gets frenetic, 3 wide into Redgate. Smith round the outside, on board with Matt Summerfield. Where's Matt going to go? He wants to follow Brereton. He's got Steve Thomas coming up the inside as well in yellow, but it's Steve Powell from David Smith. Those two guys done a great job of the first 3 or 4 corners. A little bit squirrely there for Simon Reed, loses momentum. Stuart Oliver, uncharacteristically, is down the back here. Brereton gets on the grass. There was a little bit of a kiss and a couple there between a couple of trucks, and Brereton loses momentum. Here's Matt Summerfield, 5th, 6th position at the moment, looking at the back end of Luke Garrett. They get so close. Here's the Class B runners, Trevor Martin out front from Andy Lovenbury, then Adam Bint in 0.5 running in 3rd place. Binty really needs a good result here to start to prop up his points. Dave Jenkins now out front, but it's been a good first lap from both Steve Powell and David Smith. Behind them, Michael Oliver in 4th place. Here's the run along Exhibition Straight. Oliver closing up. Is he going to be able to challenge David Smith going down into the chicane? This is good for Jenkins being up the front. He's broken. Remember, Ryan Smith in wine pink was right behind him on the grid. He's opened up a good gap. Matt Summerfield getting physical there with Luke Garrett. Steve Thomas is coming through as well. Thomas on the outside line, mid-screen at the moment, but it's Jenkins in black 69 out front. Steve Powell maintains 2nd position. Good first lap from him and David Smith, 2nd and 3rd at the end of lap number 1. There is Matt Summerfield from Steve Thomas. Thomas is going to have a look at the inside line here. Luke Garrett going a little bit wide there in the 42. There's a wheel come off from somewhere. Someone's lost the wheel. And side by side down the craners, Matt Summerfield and Steve Thomas. And Thomas is on the inside line here. I think Summerfield fancies the outside line to maybe part. Oh, and the back end coming around on Steve Thomas's truck. And look at the spin. That shows how much energy there is in these trucks. Gets on the grass, just the back end come on a little bit off onto the grass, and you're just a spinning top. Steve Thomas's big points challenge in this race is very much over. Stuart Oliver starting to come through a little bit now. He was looking back at the start, but beginning to make progress, and of course you can do that. There's a lot of bundles in the first few corners, as we've seen how crowded it gets, but there is also the philosophy that these races are long enough to be able to pick your way through lap by lap, position by position. So Powell goes across the line. Michael Oliver in 12 is left of shot. Matt Summerfield on the outside line. Summerfield in a car, the outside line here. Not impossible, but it's for the brave. And it's not for the faint-hearted in the British Truck Racing Championship either. Back with Class B, Adam Bint. He hooked up well there out of the chicane. I think that's the best poise we've seen from Binty all meeting so far. And it's Trevor Martin who is out front. Martin really bagging some serious points here this weekend. The Wiltshire Flyer out front from Adam Bint. Andy Lovenbury in third. Ryan Coulson on the inside of Paddy Mack to take fourth place. Paul McCumpsky, remember we've seen him on the podium this year already. Paddy Mack returns the favour. Look at the flame out. That's why the crowds come to watch spectacular racing, and that remembers one of the Class B trucks. It's not just the Class A boys that deliver the fireworks. Michael Oliver hanging on well. Again, as we said before in his programme, Oliver, first year driver, Shane Brereton, first full season, and both of those guys just building on their experience, and it just makes Class A more and more competitive round by round. They're still side by side. Three Kelso machines together, and it's the 77 of Brereton that gets the run down into the chicane. He passes Michael Oliver. Stuart Oliver's going to try and make the move, I guess, maybe down into Redgate. Meanwhile, side by side, Steve Powell in the Lenham truck, and on his outside, right of shot, is Matt Summerfield, the defending champion. Goes around the outside line. Well, Stuart Oliver didn't get to pass his son by Redgate. Michael runs wide, not too wide though, but there might have been a door open for Stuart Oliver Senior to go through, perhaps down the Craner curves. Paddy Mack and Ryan Coulson engaged in battle. John Powell immediately behind them. Trevor Martin still up front from Andy Lovenbury. Massive flames. Did you see the flames from Lovenbury's truck? Very spectacular indeed. So here we come then. Adam Bint is out front. And Luke Taylor rejoins the circuit, one of the Class 1 trucks from the pit lane. Paddy Mack and I think John Powell about to engage in battle. Meanwhile, Shane Brereton, as you can see, the 7 truck is ahead now, so Stuart Oliver ahead of his son, trying to close down on Shane Brereton, and Shane getting stuck in as well. This is the battle for lead position. Dave Jenkins, we're not a battle yet, but Dave Jenkins out front. Ryan Smith, who started on the row behind him on the start, lost a lot of ground. And Ryan Smith, fastest lap of the race so far, is reeling in David Jenkins. Jenkins did make a good break earlier on, but he is, I think, going to have his mirrors full of pink and white 88 very, very soon indeed. Steve Powell gets past now by Stuart Oliver. Michael Oliver goes past as well. Powell is really getting to grips with that truck. You can see the results and the performance early race getting stronger and stronger. Brereton had got past him as well, so it's Brereton, Oliver Senior ahead of Oliver Junior, then Steve Powell in number 3, and then Simon Reed's going to have a wee look up the inside as well. Luke Taylor is being caught by Adam Bint. Trevor Martin still running in second position, and then Andy Lovenbury in third, completing the podium positions at the minute. Martin on the main straight is going to be able to hunt down Adam Bint. Form so far at this meeting would suggest that Martin will be in a good position, although Adam Bint must be due a little bit of good luck. Luke Taylor back in the pit lane, sadly, in his Renault. These are the Class B runners. This is very close, very competitive racing from Class B. Coulson still trying to hunt down Lovenbury. Meanwhile, passing John Bowler are the lead pair. Ryan Smith chasing 69. Dave Jenkins, who's out front. Jenkins with a second win of the year in the third race. Is he going to hang on to this? Ryan Smith looks very determined indeed. John Bowler immediately behind is running, of course, in Class B. Ryan Smith goes to the outside line. He's going to chop back now and see if he can get down the inside, but you've got to get that machinery stopped to some extent whilst carrying the speed into the corner and try and make the move. Smith's back end wants to come out, and Ryan Smith is trying to elbow his way through and find the space, which he does, and Smith's got the lead. He's in front of Jenkins, but Dave Jenkins looking for the space coming down through the Craners. He knows that's gone. Jenkins is going to have a look into the old hairpin. No, he doesn't. That position's gone. And Ryan Smith, fastest man on track, goes through. Oh, big visit to the gravel there for Speedy Reed. Simon Reed gets back on track and rejoins. Here come the Group B runners, still Adam Bint out front, and they're now being caught by the race leaders. Jenkins goes past Andy Lovenbury, and you can see that now what we're seeing is Ryan Smith starting to get away and putting some back markers between himself and David Smith lap by lap. He's just about to pass Adam Bint, who leads Class B. Binty in the bonneted number 5, the Volvo Aerodyne, and Trevor Martin still keeping him very honest indeed at the moment, and looks at his mirrors and he sees the MAN in black. Dave Jenkins coming through. Oh, this is going to be through the middle for Dave Jenkins. Not the easiest of things to do, but both of the Class B boys have given him room, and they will then resume their battle. They'll have a quick look in the mirrors. They'll be expecting other Class A runners to come through. But it's Ryan Smith who is out front at the moment. Smith looking for win number 11 of this season. If he wins this one, he will have a race and a bit, points-wise, in hand, going to our next meeting, which is at Silverstone. Here's the view from Michael Oliver. Michael's really racking up the points at this meeting, running a good, strong position. Up ahead here of Simon Reed. So those two having a good battle, which is for, I think, 5th and 6th place. Back to Matt Summerfield. Matt running 3rd. So it's Ryan Smith out front, David Jenkins in 2nd, Matt Summerfield in 3rd. You can see he's got some clear traffic ahead of him, sort of clear road ahead of him. And meanwhile, coming through the chicane, if you look back, Dave Jenkins is 2nd, and pretty much the length of the exhibition straight between Jenkins in 2nd place and Matt Summerfield in 3rd. So these two, Ryan Smith's in front, but don't underestimate what Dave Jenkins has done in this race either. A big, big gap between these two. There is Matt Summerfield. It is virtually the length of the Wheatcroft Straight. Summerfield in 3rd. Then we see the lead truck in Class B onto the last lap. 1.97 miles to go for those guys. Trevor Martin is going to have a look for the lead. He's on the outside line. Martin's looking racy again there. Next up, we've got Stuart Oliver in the number 7. He's in 4th place, lonely 4th position at the moment, because Ryan Coulson is immediately behind, and then John Powell, Paddy Mack about to be passed by Luke Garrett. Luke running in 8th place overall, and indeed 8th place in Class A. He will start his last lap, but Ryan Smith got the fastest lap of the race back on lap 8, 1:27.483, averaging 81.44. Remember, we saw earlier in the programme the speedo graphic showing these Class A trucks topping out 100 mile an hour, so that 81 mile an hour average is pretty impressive given the twists and turns of this Donington Park National Circuit. Ryan Smith is going to make it 2 wins at this meeting. 2 for Oliver, 2 for Ryan Smith, 1 for Jenkins. Well, he's got to get through the chicane. Jenkins will make no mistakes this time, believe you me, and come safely out of the chicane. Oh, a bit of showboating from Ryan Smith. Fancy work from the 88. That is what crowds come to see. He is delighted with that win. Jenkins takes 2nd. It's a long wait before we see Matt Summerfield. And here comes Matt in the number 1 across the line. Meanwhile, back in Division 2, Adam Bint is still there. Trevor Martin's got a penalty for a false start, so he finishes 2nd on the road. That is going to actually wind him up, that penalty for the full stop, a little bit further back down the order. By my reckoning, 4th in class. So Ryan Coulson will take 2nd position in Class B. So here's how they finished. It was Ryan Smith from Dave Jenkins and Matt Summerfield. Smith getting the fastest lap as well. Stuart Oliver 4th from Michael Oliver, Simon Reed, and then Shane Brereton, Luke Garrett. Adam Bint takes the honours in Class 2. Ryan Coulson did indeed take that 2nd position from John Powell, Trevor Martin in 4th, and then Andy Lovenbury, Paddy Mack, and John Bowler completing the runners.
Right, another fantastic victory. Now, Dave Jenkins had a heck of a lead, but then you just kept closing in on him.
You know, the calmer you are, I think the faster sometimes you can go. David had known I was coming, so the pressure becomes then on Dave. You know, he defended really well. I gave him a little dummy into Redgate, and he bought it, and he covered the inside, which gave me a massive traction out the corner, so we managed just to pip him.
Adam, well done. What a race that was. Not the easiest weekend that we've got there.
Yeah, no, we've had a weekend of misery and trying to make it work, but We come and held the lead and just made it work for us. Slowly eased back to try and manage Trevor behind me, because I heard he got a 10-second penalty as well, so I know even if I had to let him past to fight my own ground, he was still have to get 10 seconds in front of me to come first. So that was a good but hard race.
So leaving Donington Park, Ryan Smith has 13 points. That's a race in hand and a little bit more over Stuart Oliver and Dave Jenkins. Matt Summerfield ahead of Steve Thomas and Shane Brereton in 6. Class B headed by 6 points by John Powell from Adam Finn, Trevor Martin up to 3rd, Brian Burt and John Bowler jointly in 4th position in Class B. Well, that's all we've got time for from Donington Park. I hope you've enjoyed the action as much as we have, and join us next time because we're moving to the home of British motor racing at Silverstone. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.